Guy Benson, political editor for townhall.com and a Fox News contributor. Guy, good morning. Good to have you here this morning.
Good morning.
So what's your take on the Tillerson pick?
Well, it's an out-of-the-box pick for sure from Donald Trump, and I think Tillerson will face something of an uphill battle on Capitol Hill for his confirmation process because there are senators who are going to be concerned and will raise questions about his experience and qualifications for the job, and also those ties to Russia that we just heard about and long-standing relationship with Vladimir Putin. And so I think I'm sort of the mind that senators at these hearings and during the floor vote process and the debate ought to approach Tillerson with an open mind. They also should come equipped with probing and thorough questions about those issues that I just spoke about, because they merit serious scrutiny. Yeah. But on the other hand, Martha, I think it's important to note some of the votes of confidence that Tillerson has received from very respected figures, from Condoleezza Rice to former Vice President Dick Cheney, and those two don't always see eye to eye, that's not a secret, and even Robert Gates, the former defense secretary under President Bush and President Obama, who's widely admired in Washington. So the fact that you've got people like that with that sort of heft behind them giving him the thumbs up and saying this is a serious person. And in fact, Robert Gates reportedly was the first person to even put Tillerson on Trump's radar.
Which is fascinating.
That might be reassuring.
We saw Bob Gates walking into the tower I would say about 2 weeks ago. And a lot of people speculated, gee, I wonder what he's doing there. And now we sort of know a little bit more of that story. And, you know, the expression keep your friends close and your enemies closer may be at play here as well. This is a person who understands the dynamic in Russia. Russia's an extraordinarily huge element of foreign policy going forward. It's a complex one, to be sure. Here's Charles Krauthammer last night talking about what he sees as a hypocrisy. Listen.
The Democrats go after Tillerson on the Russia ties. It will be a delightful festival of hypocrisy. The Russians for 20 years have been as soft on the Russians as you can come. And then all of a sudden they have discovered that the Russians are not our friends.
What do you make of that, Guy?
Hypocrisy in Washington? I don't believe it, Martha.
Shocking,
Knock
right?
me over with a feather. I've never heard of such a thing. Or partisan angling, where all of a sudden, my goodness, you discover something that might benefit you in terms of a political argument. Look, I agree, of course, with what Krauthammer said. The other thing, if you're the Democrats right now, you have to figure out some strategy here. There's some... you have to winnow down and sort of triage your opposition, because you can't go after everyone. There are so many potential targets, and ironically, Harry Reid stripped the Democrats of some of their ability to block or slow down President-elect Trump's nominees. They need to really focus on one or two, and I suspect that Tillerson might be one of those handful.
It looks like he might be. We know Menendez has spoken out quite strongly. Marco Rubio has. John McCain has. It would take 3 senators to derail this in the Senate. So it's going to be interesting to watch this fight. And I think Tillerson, you know, we haven't heard from him yet. And I think once he starts to articulate his own feelings on these things, that will be a big indicator in how it goes. So, you know, when you look at the big picture here of these picks, you've got Rick Perry as well in the mix now, Guy. Quick thought on that before we go.
Oh, he's a very successful multi-term governor of a huge oil and energy producing state. I don't think that that's a crazy pick, although I believe the Energy Department is one of the 3 that he failed to remember and recall in that famous debate in 2012.
That's why he didn't remember it, because he didn't want to eliminate it, apparently.
Yeah, apparently
he wanted
not.
to run it.
He's going to run it. And one more point, Martha, on Tillerson. I have a friend who worked for ExxonMobil for many, many years, who's worked under Tillerson. When these rumors started to come out this weekend, I got a text from him, and he said, you got to remember, ExxonMobil does business in well over 100 countries. Yeah. This guy knows a lot more of the players and a lot more of the geopolitical dynamics than some of his critics may be giving him credit for, and he did a great job representing the company. He could do a great job representing the country as well.
Yeah, I mean, so many people involved have said he's just very, very impressive, which is why I say I think a lot of people have to wait until they hear from him personally.
I agree.
To make their judgment here. Guy, thank you so much. Always good to talk to you.
Thanks, Martha.
We'll see you soon.